Release the Kraken!
Good evening, fellow game designers. Ron here with Lame Duck Studios. And here we are continuing on with our elf dude. You can see he's coming along nicely. Not too bad. Last video we did the boot. This one we're going to do the arm. The arm's not going to take quite as long. We're going to leave the hand for a separate video because that one will take a bit. But we're going to use the same kind of procedure. So I'm going to go ahead and select the body here. And you can see we have our connecting points. We have our 8 connecting points. And our shoulder kind of comes off the body, which is nice. And just like before, we could extrude, but we're not going to. We're actually going to use a cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and add one. So drop in a cylinder. I'll go into the front view. Select my cylinder. I'll bring it up to the arm. Okay, so now it's a matter of sizing it up. So if you don't see your material attributes, go ahead and right-click on your cylinder. Go down to material attributes. It should be Lambert 1 because that's what they're both using. Transparency, I'll drag that up so I can kind of see through it. And then I'm going to hit this little channel box icon here. So the tab or this to get to the channel box. Get our poly cylinder. For the radius, we really want this to turn so it's long ways against the arm. So I'm going to go to X. I'm going to do... actually, I'm going to do Z. So go down to Z and do 90 degrees in the Z. That's going to flip it that way. Grab the radius. And then middle mouse click out here to the size of the arm. Kind of move it and adjust it as you need to go. Oops, wrong one. Radius. There we go. And then we have 8 points to connect to, so make sure we set this to subdivision axis. We'll do that to 8. And then it's a matter of getting the right size, so I'll grab my height. I'm just going to drag that out. That's close enough to there. And I'm going to go into my side view before I start getting really into it. And I just want to make sure that my cylinder is positioned right where the hole of the arm is going to be. Good and center. So back to my front view, Vertex Mode. I'm going to grab these front vertices here. And drag those out to the end of the hand, or to the end of the wrist right there. Hit the R key to get our scale tool. I'm going to grab the middle scale and just kind of drag that down to get that taper of the arm. See that? And then I'm going to drag this up. So hit W, drag them up to about where the wrist is going to be. We're going to do the sleeve kind of like we did with the boot. This is going to be an extrusion, so it's okay for this to be a little bit shy. I'm going to come back to about here where the elbow is. I need to add in an edge loop for the elbow. So just like with the knee, we need to have a few cuts here for the elbow. Usually 3 is a good starting point because the more cuts you have that help that shape, the better it's going to be for animating later. So let's go ahead and grab our edge loop tool. So mesh tools, insert edge loop. Throw one right around where the elbow is. Let's kind of eyeball it. So there's that one. I need something ahead of the elbow, and I need a little bit behind. So we got our 3 for a good starting point. Vertex Mode. I'll grab the middle vertices. Again, I'm going to scale this up using middle scale to kind of get that bend of the elbow. So what I'm creating here, if you look at your forearm, just kind of hold your forearm out straight. You have a bit of muscle that creates this little shape here. And then you have down at the bottom of that muscle, on the other side, that's where the elbow is. So they have that muscle and the elbow kind of tucks back. So that's what I'm making, is that natural change of shape here. And then I'm kind of moving these to adjust as I go. So you can see we have that edge, so I'm going to line that up. Take that down just a little. You can see my elbow kind of gets in there deep, so I'm going to kind of bring that in. That's probably plenty good. Come on over to the wrist. We're going to add this part for the sleeve. So I'll grab my insert edge loop tool. Go ahead and click right about where the sleeve is. And now I'm going to extrude the sleeve. So before I do that, actually, go into face mode. Let's go in to the front of our, side view. You can see in our side view, kind of through the hole of the cylinder. So I'm going to kind of drag a box right about there. It's important that we don't grab any of the edges or any of the faces along the arm, but we want to get these inside ones. So you see those ones on the inside and those ones on the end here? We don't want these on our model, so we're going to cut those out. So go ahead and hit the delete key. So we have an open hole and an open hole, right? And then grab these edge faces. I'm going to grab this one on the sleeve, hold shift, double click. It's going to grab that loop around. I'll hit the extrude tool there, drag the blue arrow out in just a bit. I'm going to eyeball it to see, make sure it matches my sleeve. So there's my sleeve shape. I'm going to go into Vertex Mode. You can see my sleeve comes back a little bit, so I'm going to just kind of grab that and move it. If you find that rotating isn't center, you can press F and it'll frame up so it's nice and center. So that's going to make for our sleeve. To kind of make it fancy, I'm going to take this edge ring, so go ahead and select that. Double click on the vertex. So vertex, double click, and then hit the W to get your move tool. I'm just going to drag these in just a little bit. And that's going to kind of tuck under to give that nice look like the sleeve is rolled back. I'm going to do the same thing on the front here. So on the front, grab those, double click. So select one vertex, hold shifts, double click the next one, and then kind of pull that in on the cuff. And then our hand is going to attach here. So that's good there, that's good there. Let's attach our arm to our body. So select object mode, and then go select the body. Now you can see that on our body, we do have a problem with these faces being here, right? So I'm going to go right click, go down to material attributes, drag our transparency down to 0 here, and you can see what I'm talking about. We have these edge faces, or the faces on the end of the arm, but we have to cut these off so that we can attach our arm. So let's go ahead, right click, face mode. I'm going to select the torso, grab these 4 faces on the end where the shoulder connects. You see that? I grab those 4, delete. So now I have a hole. Remember, we don't want to connect these if there's faces in the way. Select them both, so select one, hold shift, select the other. Use the combine tool. And I'm going to go and just double check my shoulder. Probably good enough, I'll just have to adjust it later. But we're close, you can see it's almost lining up as we need. I'm going to add an edge loop here just to make certain that we don't destroy the elbow or destroy the arm. So get our edge loop tool, insert edge loop. And I'm going to have to add a loop right about there. Remember, you're going to want a few loops around where the joints are just so it helps it bend anyway. So we need that one, this one will be in the middle, and the shoulder will have a little bit of play. So good enough. Vertex mode. Let's go ahead and attach using our target weld tool. Let's kind of go around. So remember, kind of click off for a second just so we deselect anything, and then start attaching. Careful you don't cross any threads here. So edge to edge, edge to edge. Cool beans. You can see this is kind of skewed under here. We're going to have to fix that. But our arm is attached. Alright, so vertex mode. Let's go ahead and move some of these back. Get the back of the arm here. Let's move some of these in. Now, as I'm adjusting, it's important to make sure you're not twisting the geometry. You don't want this to kind of spiral, because that'll cause problems later. If you check out one of the characters I made where I let that happen on the arm, you'll see where the errors are. Grab those, pull those back some. And then on the shoulder, I'm going to go ahead and go to Material Attributes. Drag that up. Take a look on my side view here. Or sorry, my front view. And you can see the shirt isn't that high up, so I'll go into Summation and Vertex Mode. I'll grab these and just move them down. This shirt piece. I'm not too worried about those changes there. You can see that the arm is a bit thick here, so I'm just going to do kind of the same deal that I did with the leg. I'm going to position myself so I can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just going to adjust as I need to. Grab that one and that one. So that's the back corner and the front. Using the scale to pull them in both at the same time. It's just a matter of adjusting a little bit to help the shape. Alright, so that'll about do it for the arm for this video. Go ahead and save your work. File, save as. This is going to be our next iteration, so in the event that something goes wrong, we don't have to back up too far. Alright, and I will see you in the next one.